2023 was a good year for cyclists. We witnessed the release of dozens of game-changing bikes and even the introduction of a few new cycling categories. And while we at 99 Spokes are stoked on just about all of them, the 5 bikes that made it into this video are the ones that piqued our interest just a bit more than everything else. And to be honest, this was one of the hardest lists to narrow down because there were just so many good bikes that were released. So if we missed one of your favorites, go ahead and let us know what it is as well as why you like it so much down there in the comments. But right now, let's begin with bike number 5, which is the all-new Trek Slash. The Slash has been in Trek's lineup since 2016. And while the bike has seen its fair share of revision and evolution over the years, the 2024 model gets some of the biggest changes yet. For starters, it's the first Slash to ever be sold as a mullet or mixed wheel setup, but it can still run full 29-inch wheels with an additional link that Trek will sell you. It also features 10 more millimeters of travel at the back of the bike, putting it at 170 millimeters of suspension front and back. And speaking of suspension, the 2024 Trek Slash now utilizes a high pivot idler equipped suspension layout to maximize grip and speed through rough terrain. Now, Trek is far from the first manufacturer to use this design on an enduro bike, but the fact that Trek has adopted this trend is a sure sign that high pivot bikes are here to stay. So why do we love the Slash? Well, like I mentioned earlier, it's one of the first bikes to bring that high pivot suspension performance to a more mass market mainstream bike. It also should come as no surprise, being a Trek, that the Slash is full of really handy features that should make this bike easy to own. Things like in-frame storage, generous frame protection, and even an adjustable leverage rate at the rear of the bike. The geometry is spot on as well, with a 63.5 degree head tube angle, 77 degree seat tube angle, and long reaches, short seat tubes, and size-specific chainstays across all sizes. This makes for a bike that is plenty capable of throwing down on big terrain, but still fun when the trail gets flowier. Lastly, the Slash is available in several different build options, the cheapest of which, the Slash 8, which lists for $4,399, is far from a budget bike, but it does make it one of the cheapest high pivot bikes you can buy right now. All in all, the Trek Slash is a smartly built, surprisingly well-rounded enduro machine, but it wasn't the only bike that caught our eye this year. A couple other enduro bikes that we liked were the Ibis H86, the Orbea Rayon, and of course the Atherton MA170. Now though, let's move on to our 4th favorite bike of the year, the Cervelo Rouvida. The Rouvida is Cervelo's first e-bike, and their decision to build one really shows that we are moving to greater acceptance of e-bikes on the more performance-oriented side of the cycling spectrum. Not only that, it's one of the first bikes in what we think could be a rising trend over these next couple years, and that is e-gravel bikes. But the Rouvida isn't just an exciting bike from an industry perspective, it's also a very impressive bike in and of itself. The bike features a carbon fiber frame built around an inconspicuous Faza 60 motor and 432 watt-hour battery. This puts the weight of the highest end build at a very respectable 27.3 pounds or 12.8 kilograms. One of our favorite features has got to be the bike's interchangeable dropouts that adjust the frame's geometry and tire clearance, making it possible to switch between a stable gravel setup and a fast handling road option. It should come as no surprise though that all this technology is going to cost you, and the bike starts at $6,200 and goes all the way up to $13,000. In total, the Cervelo Rouvida is a groundbreaking bike in many ways, not just for the brand but for the industry as a whole, and it's been really cool to see the way that Cervelo has blended their racing heritage with the modern features and convenience of a pedal assist bike. But it wasn't the only e-gravel bike that came out this year. A few others that we're stoked on are the Santa Cruz Skitch, the Moots Express, and the surprisingly inexpensive Ride One Up CF Racer 1 that we actually did a first look video on if you want to check that out after you finish this video. We at 99 Spokes love riding bikes, and the idea of getting to spend more time on 2 wheels and less time behind the wheel is definitely an alluring one. And our 3rd favorite bike of this year, the Specialized Hall LT, is built to do just that. This e-cargo bike has a 31-inch or 79-centimeter rear end, allowing you to pack just about anything or anyone that you might otherwise take in your car. The Hall LT is powered by a 700-watt hub drive motor connected to a 772 watt-hour battery that Specialized claims can give the bike a range of up to 60 miles, though we'd imagine that that's going to be quite a bit shorter once the bike is fully weighted down. And speaking of weight, Specialized says that the bike can hold up to 440 pounds or 200 kilograms safely, and it rolls on smaller 20-inch wheels to help keep that center of gravity low. Instead of making separate frames for various size riders, Specialized has opted to equip the bike with a telescoping seat post and super long twill stem. This means that the bike can fit riders ranging in height from 4'5" to 6'4". While this may seem a bit bizarre for those of us used to traditional cycling sizing, this greatly increases the versatility of the bike, meaning that anyone in your family can take it out to run errands, take the kids to the playground, or go and hang out with their friends. By entering the e-cargo bike market, Specialized has squarely positioned itself against several up-and-coming direct-to-consumer e-bike companies, like Rad Powerbike and Aventon. And while the $3,500 price tag of the Haul is substantially higher than many of these bikes, it comes with a lifetime warranty on the frame and a 2-year warranty on the e-drive system. And that's something you're not going to find on either of those two aforementioned companies. In addition to that, you're also going to get the support from Specialized's slew of dealers around the world, which makes the Haul a very competitive option, and still cheaper than a decent used car. Another cool e-cargo bike that came out in 2023 is the Cannondale Cargo Wagon Neo. And if you're looking for something specifically for toting the kids around, check out the Wonder Wagon Neo. We're down to our top 2 favorite bikes of the year, and one of these we love so much that we actually purchased. But before I tell you what those 2 bikes are, take a quick second to go ahead and like this video, as well as subscribe to the 99 Spokes YouTube channel. We've got a lot of really cool stuff planned for 2024, and we don't want you to miss any of it. Now though, let's get on to our second highest favorite bike of the year, which is the Santa Cruz Heckler SL, which just happens to be sitting in the garage or potentially the bedroom of one of our co-founders, Brian. I asked Brian why this bike was special enough to justify purchasing, and he said it largely came down to 2 things. The first of which is just the category of bikes in general. Lightweight EMTBs like the Heckler SL feature smaller motors and batteries, allowing them to tip the scales at around 40 to 45 pounds. This makes them look and ride much more like a traditional mountain bike. Bikes like this have been growing in popularity recently, and just about every major manufacturer has a lightweight EMTB of their own. So why did Brian choose the Heckler over the other options? Well, that comes down to his second reason, which is quality. Santa Cruz has always had a reputation for refined, well-built bikes, and the Heckler SL is no exception. The bike is built around Foz's Ride 60 motor and a 430 watt-hour battery that are so cleanly hidden in the carbon fiber frame that even the most astute bike nerds would have trouble recognizing the Heckler SL as an e-bike from across the parking lot. The bike's 160mm fork and 150mm of travel in the back place the bike squarely in the highly versatile, aggressive trail or all-mountain category. And speaking of versatility, the Heckler SL also comes with adjustable geometry, so you can fine-tune the bike to your specific needs. And most importantly of all, it's offered in the beautiful gloss magenta color that you're feasting your eyes on right now. Like I mentioned earlier, lightweight EMTBs have really been on trend this year, and that meant that the Heckler SL had quite a bit of stiff competition. In the end though, its smart design and sleek looks were enough to earn it the penultimate position for our list. A few similar newly released bikes that we're stoked on this year are the Mondraker Neat, the Specialized Kenevo SL2, and the affordable alloy version of the Trek Fuel EXE. And with that, we've made it to our number 1 favorite bike of the year. And while the other 4 bikes on this list stand out because of their technological advancement or the way they're pushing the cycling industry in one direction or another, this one stands out not because of what it does, but who it does it for. The Trek Marlin is Trek's best-selling mountain bike, but up until this year, its conservative cross-country geometry and out-of-date standards has meant that it hasn't really been capable of tackling modern single-track riding. But this 3rd generation bike really looks to change that, delivering trail-ready performance for riders not ready or willing to sacrifice a few months of rent for a new bicycle. We at 99 Spokes believe that a bike's geometry plays just as big a role in how the bike will perform on the trail as its components and frame features. And thankfully, this 3rd generation Marlin has had some serious updates to the geometry department. The bike now sports a slack 66.5 degree head tube angle, low standover height, and a high stack to reach ratio across a whopping 8 sizes. The frame also features modern standards like a zero stack headset, BSA bottom bracket, internal cable routing, and Trek's proprietary through skew rear axle. But obviously it takes more than good geometry to build a solid bike. And that brings me to the second thing that we liked about the new Marlin, its part spec. Even the cheapest Marlin, the Marlin 5 that lists for just over $700, still comes with hydraulic disc brakes and a wide range 1x drivetrain. The highest end build, the Marlin 8, comes with everything you need for long-lasting fun on the trail, including a dropper seat post, 12-speed drivetrain, and tubeless-ready wheels and tires. As exciting as flagship bikes are, there really is something to be said about companies who are willing to push the boundaries on their more budget-focused bikes. Some other newly released mountain bikes that share that same goal are the Marlin San Quentin and the Giant Stance. Well, that's a wrap on this video and 2023 as a whole. Let me know in the comments what your favorite bikes of the year were and why you like them so much. And if you haven't done so already, be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Lastly, remember that bikes are for everyone. Have fun out there.